distinctive new designs in modern dance music, styled by that young composer, arranger, and his orchestra, Stanley Kenton. Come in, Stan.
Hello, everybody. We welcome you to a session of artistry and rhythm, and we hope you enjoy our musical offerings.
For many years, Dayton has had the privilege of keeping the Stan Kenton archives. The late Stan Kenton, pianist, composer, arranger, and leader of the Stan Kenton Orchestra, was a true jazz innovator and an educator. For over 35 years, the Kenton Orchestra has toured the country and the world playing their unique style of music. Damned by some and praised by others, but Stan Kenton always played it his way. For the past 6 years, Mr. Randy Taylor has been keeping the Kenton memorabilia. Randy, how was it that you came to obtain this collection?
Well, Bob, it started in June of '74. We saw the band at Grandview Inn in Columbus, and during one of the breaks, I was sitting with Stan, and he started talking about just things in general, and he finally got around to it, and he said, asked me if I would be interested in keeping his archives, and I said, your archives? I didn't even know there was such a thing. He said, yeah, he said, I get all these plaques and awards and all that, and we've been sending them to a guy in the East, and I'm really not too satisfied with what he's done with the materials. And he said, would you be willing to take it on? And I said, sure. He said, well, you're asking for quite a bit, because he said, you're going to get a house full of stuff. He laid it on kind of thick. And so it wasn't too long that I started getting the stuff from the fellow that had it before, and with pictures and awards and tapes and what have you, you know. And then later on, I started getting material from the Kenton office in Los Angeles. And it's kept up on a continual basis ever since.
How was it that he trusted you so much to let you keep all of this for him?
Well, I had known him personally since the late '60s, but I knew his lead trombonist, Dick Shear, and I think he was the one that kind of paved the way about the archives materials.
But you've been keeping them ever since then.
Right. But I had first heard the band in '41 over a broadcast, and then I think the first time I saw the band was 1945. And I talked to Stan then, but I was so in awe of him that I couldn't keep up the thing, you know. I just, I don't know. He was that kind of, he wasn't the least bit distant, because he was always open to fans, you know. But I still couldn't bring myself up to talk to him every time. But so it wasn't until the late '60s I really got on a personal relationship with him. But here's a fellow right here that he started back many years before I did as far as knowing the man, Jerry Schwartz from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yes, I knew Stan. I met him back in '52 at Steel Pier Ballroom. In fact, he came off the front of the stage and walked over to me. I had spent like 2 days down there singing matinees and evening performances. He said, thanks for coming to see me. What's your name? I told him. And I said, Stan, it's nice to know you, and what have you. And I didn't see the band until 3 months later. And I walked into Sunnybrook Ballroom in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. And all of a sudden, from the side of the room, I hear, hello, Jerry. I looked over, and he's walking over to me. And that's how we became close friends. As Randy says, he was never a distant man. He had time for his fans, always.
Did he tour in Ohio very often?
Quite a bit. Yeah, really in Indiana.
Right, or that
Kentucky.
Ohio, this part of the country, they spent a lot of time in over the years.
I have a typical trip as far as like sitting on the bus and everything.
Well, depending. It was in Stan's heyday. It was a fun trip. We get on the bus. Everybody get on the bus. They'd be tired. Let's say we
after the job.
After the job.
Yeah.
Now, I will, before you say describe a trip, Dick Shear, Randy mentioned, from Dayton, where Randy knew him from here, and Dick, when he became road manager, changed something around. Before Dick became road manager, we used to do what we called hit and runs. That meant, let's see if I can describe it to you. All right, we're in Dayton today. We leave tomorrow morning, we play tonight, leave tomorrow morning, go to Youngstown, play, get back on the bus, and maybe drive to Chicago.
Keep going.
Keep going. So every other night, you slept in a hotel. And then one night in a hotel, one night on the bus, one night in a hotel, one night on the bus. And that's how you did your one-night sessions. Now, Dick decided that the band would be better, be fresher, if every night we could get into a motel and get a night's sleep and get up in the morning and travel by day. And starting in the late 1960s, when Dick took over, that's what we did. And we'd get on the bus, everybody would be tired, and guys would go to sleep. Then about 11:30, Stan would be awake, and he'd get up in the front, and he'd start telling stories about musicians or jokes, you know. And
He did tell stories about the old days.
he always told stories.
Oh, yeah.
And he kept everybody kind of loose on the bus, you know, everybody be talking. As I say, we made many a long jump, some short ones, 200 miles, and then some 500 miles.
It's not the glamorous life.
It's a gypsy life.
Yeah.
It's a real gypsy life.
How often did he tour? What kind of...
He toured 46 weeks out of 52.
Yeah.
He until that accident, he kept right on going every
How
year.
big was the band, a touring band?
18 pieces in stand.
Yeah.
They never flew, they always had a bus.
No. Well, you'd fly sometimes. You'd have to fly between dates. Sometimes the bus driver would put us on a plane, and we'd fly on to another city, and then another bus would pick us up, and then he would drive our bus, deadhead, and then meet us 2 days later in that city and take us on.
He had his own bus.
He had his own bus.
Yeah.
But there were days that we had to be like, well, for instance, we recorded at Brigham Young University on August the 13th, 1972. On August the 14th, we had to play a naval base outside of Boston. So we flew from Salt Lake City on the 14th to Boston. Now, when we checked into Brigham Young to make the recording session, we were in there for 4 days, rehearsing and all. The bus driver took our bus and he drove straight through, and when we landed in Boston, he met us. And that's the way we used to sometimes have to do it.
He's talking about Brigham Young. Tell him about that. That was a clinic thing, wasn't it?
Oh.
You know how the Mormons.
Oh, Brigham Young, yeah. Brigham Young, of course, being Mormons, no alcohol, no cigarettes.
Period.
Period. That's their rules. That's it. Well, the late Willie Maiden, great arranger, baritone player with a band, he said, no way can I record an album without cigarettes and a beer. And the other guys felt the same way. So they had to come up with a compromise. And what they did, they said that our bus was parked in the driveway beside the auditorium. They said our bus is off limits. They will say you're off campus. You can get in your bus, you can have your drinks, you can have your cigarettes. We'll assume for the day that you're off campus. You're not on our campus. And when you'd open that door, we'd have a break, you'd open the door to the bus, the smoke would hit you. You could have taken a knife and cut right through it. And I say that's the only way we got through the Brigham Young concert.
When he started his own record company, Creative World, he leased his masters from Capitol, who he'd recorded for 30-some years.
Oh, going back into
He was
the
one of the
40s.
first Capitol artists, in fact.
Right.
The very first Capitol artist. And after Capitol had, got into the Beatles and all that, they kind of lost interest in jazz and big bands. And they were getting Stan to record commercial albums, and he really didn't dig that. He said the final blow came when he called Capitol Records one day, and they said, the girl said, Capitol Records, home of the Beatles. And of course, you could see why. I mean, my God, look at the money they're making. So he worked out a deal where he could lease his old Capitol, because they wouldn't release them, so he'd re-release them, because a lot of people wanted them. And so he leased all his old masters. He started his own company, Creative World, and released every Capitol album he'd ever made. And then he got into recording new albums. And the first album was a 2-record thing at Redlands University, which was part of a clinic thing. So then they got into releasing live albums from clinics or universities. And that's how he got his own things started.
Redlands, Brigham Young, Butler,
Yeah.
from Indianapolis.
Yeah. And they were a huge success at the start, 'cause he hadn't made that many live albums.
Only road show.
And Tropicana.
Tropicana, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and then it would start out as a mail order thing.
Yeah,
You just wrote in and ordered them, and plus the band would carry the albums with them,
on the bus.
and you could buy them. And of course, they couldn't carry all of them. But then it eventually got into stores.
The Creative World thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many labels was he on? Just Capital One, Creative World?
No,
Decca.
he was on Decca, Capitol, Creative World, and he did 2 albums for Phase 4 in London.
But they were just a one-shot deal.
One-shot deal.
Yeah.
Many of his albums.
I got them all.
One place.
Yeah.
Where are they? They in here?
Right around the corner there. Yeah, here's the rest of them.
So those are most of the albums that he's got. They're not complete, but that's it, right?
I would say so. They're not exactly in sequence, but they're close. Now, this is the Decca sessions I told you about. And they reissued that on a LP. That was 1941, the first band.
That's the very first one.
Mm-hmm. And here's the first Capitol. It came out in 45, wasn't it, Jerry?
Yes, 45.
Yeah.
Isn't Artistry and Rhythm his...
Theme.
That's his
yes.
theme, but it's not on the album. It was also the tagline for the band. They always said the artistry and rhythm of Stan Kenton. But I was really hacked when I bought this because artistry and rhythm wasn't on the album.
It wasn't, no.
But that was the very first Capitol album. And here's the third one. This was really was one of his way out bands, concert and progressive jazz.
Now,
Not very swinging and not very melodic.
that band was far out.
And here's a pretty far out band too, the Innovations Orchestra. This is one with strings and French horns. And,
43 pieces they had.
yeah,
2 buses it took to transport them.
he lost a bundle on that band.
He did.
How long did that band, was it together?
2 seasons.
2 seasons, 2 concert tours.
I think he dropped about $250,000.
At
on it.
least.
And that was a lot of money.
Right. Aha.
This is one that was done at Purdue University with the 4 freshmen and June Christie in about,
1959, October.
right. That was a 2
Two record
album
set.
set.
They toured the country, did about 6 weeks.
Quite a plush album for today.
From St. Louis to Boston,
And they filled that place twice.
twice.
6,000 people each time.
They took the best of the 2 sessions
What?
and made the album.
And then this is when the series, when Chapel got into, everybody was doing an album in hi-fi. Betty Goodman and hi-fi and Harry James. So that was, and this was a recreation of a lot of his hits. And then this was a Grammy winner, West Side Story.
This was the beginning of the Melphoniums in 1961.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had an entirely new brass section, the Melphoniums. And that was the first album they made with the Melphoniums.
Right.
See, the creative world started with Capitol, because every album said from the creative world of Stan Kenton comes. So that's how the creative world started. And this was an album that held up. This was live from the Tropicana in Vegas. And I think they sat on that album for 2 or 3 years.
They did before they finally released it,
Yeah.
yes.
Was there any particular reason?
I don't know.
I never knew why. I asked Stan about it and he couldn't tell me.
It's a good album.
It's a good album, yeah.
There's the Melphonium. Which
Did
is
he
actually...
design that or something?
He helped to design it, because the regular mellophone was more like a French horn. And they just designed a straight mellophone, and they called it a mellophonium. And he had 4 in the orchestra, along with the trombones and the trumpets. There you go.
Cuban
You can
Fire.
talk about this one.
Oh, Ken. 1956, May.
Johnny Richards.
Johnny Richards wrote this suite, and we recorded in New York in 3 days. And it was really one of the biggest and best albums Stan ever did. We had the band, we had 5 or 6 Latin drummers from New York, and Johnny's music was dynamite as it was. Very hard, very difficult pieces. We spent 6 hours a day, for 3 days in there, just doing 6 tunes.
Here we
That
have...
was a great album.
Now this, a lot of critics will tell you, this was the greatest Stan Kenton band.
Oh, that
Wasn't
was
it? The 53,
53,
54.
54.
It was really the most contemporary swinging,
It was, yeah.
straight ahead band. They always talk about that band.
Aha.
This is an interesting thing too. To see the band's first real big performances were at the Rendezvous Ballroom in Balboa Beach, California. And Stan bought the ballroom. He had it closed down and all that in about the late 50s. He bought the ballroom and had it completely renovated and everything. That was going to be the home base for the band.
Home base for the band.
Sunk a mint into it.
Lost a bundle.
He lost it. So they made this album right at the ballroom.
This is one of two they made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one with Ann Richards.
His second
she sang
wife.
with the band, yeah.
Second wife.
There's another.
Aha.
Talk about this, Jerry.
Happy birthday. Molly Hyder, the engineer, wanted to do something special for Stan's 61st birthday. He went to Bill Holman, the arranger, asked him to do a chart on Happy Birthday written for the Kenton Band. He then went over to England with the band, and everywhere the band played, he would set up and record the band. When they got to his birthday, they surprised him by playing. He came up to introduce a tune. They surprised him by playing Happy Birthday to him, and he was completely flabbergasted. He didn't know what to say about it. He says, "It's the wildest birthday gift I've ever had."
And it was a very contemporary, up-tempo, driving Happy Birthday, big production.
Yeah.
He had no idea they had it. And he was doing the introduction to something else, and Dick Shear stood up and just started off with the regular Happy Birthday. And, Stan just looked there and stood there in shock, Then they finally got into it, and they played a whole arrangement.
It wasn't improvised. There wasn't.
Oh, no,
they rehearsed it in Pennsylvania 2 weeks before they left for Europe.
Stan didn't know it. He didn't know they'd rehearsed it. What about this one, Jerry?
Live and Let Die. That's a group of, a lot of it is Gene Rollins writing, blues type thing. Bob Curnow did the chart on Live and Let Die, the tune from the movie. That was recorded in California in about 73 or 74. It's an interesting album.
There's the first Creative World new album. Wasn't reissued. Live at
Redlands, yeah.
University.
Right.
That's the first Creative World album.
That's the first one
yeah.
that they actually recorded for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the Brigham Young.
Brigham Young.
These are all double albums.
This, you better talk about this one,
This is
Andy.
kind of an oddball, too. This is from the clinics at Drury College in Springfield, Missouri. And Stan was off the band at this time. Dick Shear was leading the band. And this was kind of like a souvenir album. They made it the whole week. And the band's on here. It's a live album for one side, I think.
This is the next to last album that was done by Stan. This is Journey in the Capricorn. Was done in August of 76 in Hollywood. And then they left the next week to go to Europe for the final European tour that the band made. Very interesting. A lot of music in there.
There's another recreated Capitol. And here's a Kenton 76.
76. That was done in Chicago, and it was some Bill Holman things and some Hank Levy charts and some Bob Curnow and.
It's kind of a favorite album, mine, Jerry.
Yes, it is. Mine too.
My son got a chart on this one.
Yes. Also, your son has a chart on Capricorn. I should mention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was the first one he got
First
on.
he got on, right?
Kenton 76. Here's a real different type of album. Bob Curnow produced this, and I guess he wrote all the charts, didn't he? But it was all from Blood, Sweat, and Tears and the group Chicago.
And he wrote for the Kenton Band, and
so they just called it Stan Kenton Plays
Chicago, right?
And they were playing in Chicago.
They recorded in Chicago too.
It's one of the nicer layouts, too.
Yes.
Printed all the pictures of everybody, There's Peter Erskine, who went with Maynard Ferguson later. And then the back is kind of interesting. The back of the bus with all the personnel. And there's the one from Butler University, a double.
Yeah.
And there's the last
There's
album.
the last album Stan Kenton never recorded.
Last commercial album.
In Holland in
Holland.
September of 76, and that was the last there was.
And you might say that was a Kenton era.
Yeah.
Well, let's go in and look at the archives if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right. Where are they? They're back this way.
Right around the corner.
All right. So this is the archives.
This is it.
What are we looking at? We're looking at a lot of stuff.
A lot of awards and photographs and mementos.
Well, why don't we just start over on this wall here and just start pointing out the different things.
Okay.
What is the group way up at the top?
That's Jerry just asked me where that was taken.
I'm not sure where that picture's been taken.
I can't tell you where either one was.
portion of an informal jam session taking place here in the recital hall of the University of California. Here in the United States, Sacramento is the city. Incidentally, it's the capital of this state. At this hour in the morning, it's a little past 2:30 a.m. It's clear and cool outside, and may we send our greetings. Good luck to you.
From Cincinnati. He done 7 2-hour programs in tribute to Stan. That's the tapes on that. That was 14 hours.
He sent those to you?
Yeah. Well, I donated to the archives.
Right.
And he done that for 7 weeks straight. Took it from the beginning up to 76.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of work.
The work is right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in the Stan Kenton Avenue, or the S. Kenton Avenue.
That was sent here, and I understand the guy worked at a sign company, and he just made that up on his own. Like it looks like South Kenton Avenue, you know.
Right.
And then up here you've got a doctorate from Villanova University. Here's a doctorate from Redlands University in California, and here's one from Drury College in Springfield, Missouri.
Redlands and Drury, we had our clinics over the years.
Is that a TKE paddle there, teak?
Yeah, I never could, I never heard the full story on that. I guess a fraternity
Yeah.
gave that to him. And I think they autographed it on the back,
Well, they sure did.
everybody. And, oh, here's quite an impressive looking thing. It's from National Association of Jazz Educators, March 1970. Gave that to him.
That's awful nice.
Yes.
Just some clippings. I told you about the clipping service. This is how they would come. They would be, they're tagged like that. The date and the paper and the circulation.
Oh, I see.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this one here was when he was injured. And his group up in Detroit made up this thing that has 1,000 signatures on it. This girl's sitting on it. And there it is right here. And when you stretch it out, it's about as big as the living room.
It's just got all sorts of signatures.
Yeah. You open it up and it's got, you know, get well, Stan Kenton and all that.
Right.
It's a huge thing. I've only unfolded it about 3 times. It's about like laying out a tarpaulin.
Yeah.
Very fascinating. Very fascinating. What is the story that you were telling about the clarinet?
Oh, they were doing a clinic at some school, and one of the young students was getting a clarinet out of his case, and Stan had a real aversion to clarinets for some reason. He said, "What is that thing you're getting out there?" You know, putting him on. He said, "That's a clarinet, Stan." He said, "That's a bird call. Put your back and get your sax out."
He didn't like clarinets for nothing.
And so a few weeks later, at another clinic, this kid showed up. They had this package all wrapped up real nice for him. He opened it up and it was an old metal clarinet, broken in 2, you know, and beat all to heck. He gave it to Stan, and then they took his picture with it. He got a big kick out of that.
This is the archive.
This is the archive.
This is it.
What do you think will happen to this? Now, when did he die? Well, Stan died when?
August 79. And the original idea was that it would be donated to some college.
Any idea which college?
No. And there's several in, you know, that they're thinking about, but they never have made up their mind yet.
Now, he never went to college himself, did he?
No, I don't think he did he?
No, he was going to start taking courses to be a psychologist at one time.
He was very interested in
psychology. And he was tired one time. He broke the band down. He was going to go into another field, but music, you know, it drew him right back.
I think the thing of it is they want a college that will have the funds that they can have this stuff available.
Right.
For historians and students and educators and all that, you know. And they don't want it to go like I understand Woody Herman gave
Woody
it to
Herman
college.
had to one college.
His stuff is sitting in a warehouse somewhere. Where like they've got his clarinet laying out and maybe a piece of music and that's about it.
The rest is down in some storage room.
But they want this stuff available for people that are interested, you know. mainly as an educational type of thing, not as a showbiz thing or anything like that.
You'll kind of miss this when it's gone, won't you?
Yeah, I really will, because you can walk in here any time and look at it, and it kind of makes you feel close to the man.
Right. This is my third trip out here to see it.
Is that right?
Yes.
We've had a couple of visitors from England,
Right.
and people from Oklahoma, and Indiana,
And now
Texas.
Dayton.
Yeah, right.
There's a picture up there, Bob, of the late Bob Crane, who was Hogan on Hogan's Heroes. Bob was a big fan of the band, and
He came here 3 times.
3 times. Every time he was in
Yeah.
Columbus or Dayton, he would always call Randy and say, "I'm coming over to the house."
He just loved it.
You know,
He couldn't get enough of it.
He really, and Stan used to let him sit in once in a while and play drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of the biggest Kenton fans. You know, I'll tell you, talking about showbiz, I'll tell you another guy, Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood was a big
He
fan.
always showed up.
Yeah.
Right?
I enjoyed this an awful lot, and I appreciate it, Randy.
You have to come back.
Thank you for letting me come in and see
Sure.
all this. It's been an experience. I've enjoyed the music. Now you can get some of the history. Jerry, it's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you, Bob.
This has been a portion of an informal jam session taking place here in the recital hall of the University of California. Here in the United States, Sacramento is the city. Incidentally, it's the capital of this state. At this hour in the morning, it's a little past 2:30 a.m. It's clear and cool outside, and may we send our greetings. Good luck to you.
Sinatra's ties. Someone ought to put you in the know. 'Cause after all is said and done, there ain't but the one with the righteous air, because he knows that he ain't no square. He never misses a smart affair. Tabby the cat, he strolls around every single night, and let me say it's the strangest sight. He pats his foot when the rhythm's right. That's Tabby the cat. He's the playboy of the alley, running around and doing the town. And 'cause he calls Count Basie Pally, all the kittens throw their mittens down whenever he's around. They always bet on the winning team. He knows the inside of every scheme. He leaves the milk, but he takes the cream. Tabby the cat. Well, scat, who's bad? Strutting by, he looks so fine. Scat, who's bad? Don't you try to hand him a line. They call him Tabby, the very solid cat. And that tune brings you dreams, so it seems, underneath the silver moon. As they play Siboney, every care will fade away. Fascinating, captivating Siboney. If you've been in Havana, you have heard a dreamy tune. When you think of Havana, you recall this dreamy tune. If you've been in Havana, you saw its funny rhythm that made your senses stray. Night and day is that tantalizing melody they play. And that tune brings you dreams, so it seems, underneath the silver moon as they play.
nothing to see. Just glad I'm living and lucky to be. I've got a woman crazy for me. She's funny that way. I can't save a dollar, ain't worth a cent. But she'd never holler, she'd live in a tent. I've got a woman crazy for me. She's funny that way. Though she loves to work and slave for me every day, she'd be so much better off if I went away. But why should I leave her? Why should I go? She'd be unhappy without me, I know. I've got a woman crazy for me. She's funny that way. But why should I leave her? Why should I go? She'd be unhappy without me, I know. I've got a woman crazy for me. She's funny that way. She's funny that way.
Been knocking on doors from morning till night. No rooms for rent. Prospects ain't bright. I'm going mad for a fad. Ain't there no rooms to be had? Why must my feet have to creep through the streets till they're beat? Till they're barred with the speed. I'm going mad for a fad. Ain't there no bunks to be had? Don't need no bath, need no towel, and the pain can be had. I won't fall in a faint unless I can express on a home-cooked meal or three. I guess I'm in a mess. Even the city jail said scram, frail, frail. I'm going mad for